Hello Nippies, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Nips, a freelance artist, and today we're going to be working on, yes, you read right, Jinx from League of Legends. And this is a little sketch that I did while I was watching the premiere of Arcane, which if you haven't watched already, it's a Netflix original show made by League of Legends of the two characters, Jinx and Vi, from the game. And it's just amazing. Only 9 episodes, and season 2 was already announced. I highly recommend you go watch it. It's amazing. I watched it like 10 times, the entire thing. I just absolutely love it. Great animation, emotion, characters, directing, art, everything under the sun. So highly recommend. This drawing was inspired by the song Enemy, which I'll link down below. You guys should definitely listen to it. I looped it way too many times. The music video is also really fun. It's by Imagine Dragons, collaborating with League of Legends, of course. And basically the show is about Jinx's origin, Jinx and Vi's origin story along some other characters, but they're not the main characters, but they'll be there. So if you play League of Legends, it'll be fun to see all the Easter eggs and all the other side characters as well. If you know anything about Jinx, you know she's a little unhinged. Of course, her origin story is about how she even became like that, and so it was really fun to kind of play around with those ideas. And so I decided to draw what she looks like in the show and use her tattoos, which are these like cloud things, and the bullets as well, which she has in the time skip. And inside the tattoos, I decided to put her like unhinged version. I thought it would be kind of an experimental piece because, like I said, this was like a doodle. And so I decided to just kind of go with whatever came to my head. And this was it. I really tried my best to not spend that much time on this piece. I think this piece took me a total of maybe 2 to 3 hours. So it was fairly quick. You'll see all the lines are really kind of messy. And there was one, maybe 2 stages of this piece where I feel like it might have been nice to stay around that area, and I feel like I might have lost my way after that. So maybe I'll catch them. I feel like I might have over rendered some parts. I might have like messed with the drawing too much. But like I say, sometimes you just gotta go and learn whatever you learned from the piece, let it go and move on to the next one, because if not, you're just gonna be miserable. You're gonna keep beating yourself up. So there's some parts where they're not like my favorite, but at the end of the day, the ending drawing is still really pretty. I'm still pretty proud of it. So I'm glad that I at least finished it. It's better to finish it than to not. The one thing that I will say about this piece is I do kind of have like a similar Jinx piece, which I think some of you have already seen it, that is kind of like at the same angle. It's like a portrait, you know, kind of bust. So I didn't like that they were so similar. I felt like it would have been a fun opportunity to try something a little bit more different with her. But alas, this is the first thing that came to mind, and I decided to just run with it regardless. So that is one thing that kind of irked me, but I think that the concept is different enough that it doesn't super bother me. Here you'll see that I decided to make the lighting in the tattoo parts very different. I decided to go with like red and orange because like of the explosives and stuff that she's really known for later. You'll see that the orange and the blues just really go well together. They are complementary colors. Is that what they're called? Oh my god. I'm supposed to know this. Professional artist, by the way. But yeah, so they're opposites. right? So they look good together. They're supposed to look good together. But yeah, so one of the things that I really wanted to do was make the sections inside the clouds very obvious. And I think this was something that I started to really struggle with as I kept rendering the piece, was everything was just kind of starting to blend together. And I thought the orange was gonna do the job, but it ended up not necessarily working because I wanted the background to stay the same color. So I wanted it to be, if I was going to go this like muted like black, brown, green color, I wanted to keep it the same but like change the values or the saturation. And so I think in hindsight maybe I could have gone like an orange, but then that would have detracted from like her face and like the parts that were really saturated on her, because I really wanted her to stand out. So I think that was something that maybe I could have like played with a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, hindsight 2020, I guess, you know? I really liked a lot of the things that I played with and the concepts that I did. I started adding tears. I really wanted her eyes to be the main focus. And I thought that adding the tears without rendering the rest of her too much was going to do the job. So you'll see that I really tried to minimize the shading and not make it super contrasty, because I really just wanted her face to be what stuck out. So you'll see later in the piece that I add a lot of detail to the tear, to the eye, and just around the eye in general. One of the things that you'll also see me do is crop the drawing. I really struggled with meaningful composition. So sometimes, like, at least for me, I don't really know, like everybody has like a different thing that they look to do in their art pieces. I really like to make really fun dynamic compositions, and most of the time that I do that, it's either like it looks meaningfully cool, like there's a reason why that part is taking up space, or if it doesn't have a reason why it's taking up space, it has to be there to complement the main part of the piece. I don't know if that's gonna make any sense, but hopefully some of you will understand me. In this piece, the center, her face is the point of the piece. However, if you notice, her face is like in the top 2/3 of the drawing. And so the bottom is kind of dynamic only because of her braid. But if you analyze the bottom 2/3 of the drawing, like there's nothing really meaningful there. So after you look at her face, you're just like, okay, what about the rest of the drawing? And the rest of the drawing at the bottom is like not interesting enough to justify how much space it takes up. And so I really struggled with like trying to make it work. And so what I end up doing is just cropping it so that her face takes up a little bit more of the piece. And I end up putting Jinx into the bullet right under her face so that there's at least like something there. So it's not just like a random bullet floating there. That's another thing that I wish maybe I would have like thought out better. But like I said, this was just a really fast doodle that I just kind of tried to go along with and do really quickly and just kind of say yes to whatever came to my mind. And so when I do things like that, it's very rarely super planned out into the future. So that was something that I had to kind of fix like as the drawing was going on. So because this is a doodle, it wasn't that serious, so I'm not like super mad about it. I managed to kind of balance it out with crop, but you know, hindsight. On top of that, the blurring that I did earlier also really helped bring your focus to her eyes. So you'll notice the back of the braid, a lot of the stuff at the bottom also is blurred. And here you'll see me really trying to pull your eyes into the eyes. And I looked up some crying eye references in order to really make sure that I got that right. I'm really happy with that because the pure whites are highlights on the eyes, and so it really is the first thing that you see when you look at this piece. Like, it's in the center, pure whites, and I just really like that. And because the eyes are really the only things that are kind of the point of the piece, is the reason why I needed to kind of make sure that they looked good, because the rest of the drawing isn't super impressive. Like, there's really nothing else about the piece that is like wowing, you know? So here you'll see me try to add some glitch effects, and this was something that I was trying to do before I straight out cropped it, because I was trying to find a way to like distort the bottom so that your eye wouldn't like go there. And you'll see me try to add some rebound lighting here in order to maybe see if I could balance out the interest in the bottom of the piece. I added the Jinx like I mentioned earlier. I was like, oh, maybe I don't need to like crop this that much. Like, do I even need to crop it at all? You'll see me kind of struggling here to really make this piece look finished. And I really do like the Jinx. Normally I don't like my handwriting in drawings, but because like her character does deal a lot with like graffiti and art and just like writing, I thought it was kind of appropriate for her. And there's some scenes in the movie and in her character in general where she like writes out her own name, so thought it was kind of fun and appropriate. Here you'll see me finally trying to bring your eyes into the center of the drawing. So I made the top of her head darker and the background light, so that way your eyes kind of remain at the center. Like, I want everything to push your eyes to the middle. So I tried to make the outsides dark so that your eyes don't like wander off too far to the edges of the piece. And so here you'll see me finally just cropping the piece and continuing to make the edges darker so that your eyes still don't continue to go that way. This is what I mean. Here you'll see me compare to what I was saying earlier, that I felt like the piece at an earlier stage was much nicer. You'll see me overlay part of the old one on top of the new one so that I can get a less saturated and over-rendered piece. This was just such a fun piece. It's an amazing show. I'm gonna say it again, I definitely recommend you watch it. I've watched it many times, and even if you don't know anything about League of Legends, you'll still be able to understand it and hopefully love it. My parents watched it and they loved it. They cannot wait for season 2, so give it a watch. Let me know what you thought of it down below. If you did already watch it, let me know what you thought of this video, the drawing. I'll put the link of the drawing down below if you guys are interested in looking at it a little bit more in detail. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe, join the Nippy family. The more the merrier, and I will see you guys next video. Bye.